Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of exam preparation workshop. I'll be the program director of the day with Ms. Zimasa. So firstly, let's welcome Ms. Fortunate Morena, who will be coming with opening, welcoming us and giving us the purpose of the day. So she's a trainee career guidance practitioner from the counseling unit in Gauteng region, Ekurhuleni campus. So Ms. Fortunate, the stage is yours.
As introduced, I am Fortunate Morena, one of the interns at the Ekurhuleni campus, and I work as the trainee guidance practitioner. Today, we'll dive into practical strategies for mastering exams, from answering questions effectively to leveraging AI tools, scanner apps, and psychological techniques for peak performance. Exam preparation is an essential part of every student's academic journey. It is not just about passing a test, but about deepening understanding, building confidence, and developing skills that last beyond the classroom. As you gear up for exam preparation, remember that consistent effort now builds unshakable confidence later. Start by breaking your study guides into daily goals, practicing past papers under timed conditions, and using tools like AI ethically for summaries and quizzes. Stay proactive. UNISA's resources like revision guides and My UNISA make this achievable. Let's unlock your potential together. Thank you. I hope this will be a productive and informative workshop. Thank you so much for the introduction. Over to you, Zimase and Rotanda.
Thank you so much for the great opening, welcoming, and the purpose of the day. For now, we're going to ask Ms. Litabo Ramachila for the recap from yesterday's session. Then she is a trainee career guidance practitioner from the counseling unit Gauteng region under VAL regional campus.
I'm a trainee career guidance practitioner based in the VAL region, and I'm going to give you guys a brief or take you through a brief recap of what was discussed yesterday in the exam preparation workshop. For our first day yesterday, we had Silokela Moses, who was the first speaker. He is from the Directorate Student Assessment Administration. He took us through key student platforms such as My Modules, My Exams, My Admin, and UNISA app, and their different uses. And he also emphasized the importance of tutorial letter 101 as the main guide for each module. He also continued to clarify the difference between timetabled and off-timetabled modules for us. And then he continued to highlight that exam administrations, that students, we should not expect that exam administrations are automatic, but rather they depend on the student meeting certain requirements depending on each module. He also continued to remind students to always submit on the correct platforms and to follow specific module instructions. He continued to also explain the difference between continuous assessments and final and summative assessments. And then after that, we were joined by speaker Masiza Mandisa, who is also from the Directorate of Student Assessment Administration. She explained that there are certain exemptions that can be afforded to students depending on the situation or scenarios. She explained in terms of students who are students with disability or students who are incarcerated. She highlighted the importance of submitting such applications to be exempted in time and to make sure that they're completed, signed, stamped, to avoid any delays from being exempted from such tools. She continued to kind of take students through certain proctoring tools or the different proctoring tools, such as the MCQs and IRIS invigilation, the Invigilator app as well. She also advised students to make sure that they prepare their devices and download the required apps before exams. She warned students to not leave the apps during the exams because this may cause them to be flagged for certain misconducts. She continued to encourage students and to make them aware that there are certain help desks, especially when they're making use of the different proctoring tools during the examination. She made them aware that there are certain numbers. If you're experiencing any difficulties during your examination, there are certain numbers that you can call. And she advised strictly that you have to make a call, because if you send an email during your examination and you're experiencing any difficulties, it'll be very difficult for them to reply to you quickly using the emails, because they are busy responding to students during course. So it's very advisable to just take note of that information, make use of the numbers, and call during that time. We were then joined by Ms. Mary Mulaisane. She kind of continued from where Miss Mandisa kind of stopped. She also highlighted the importance of using the correct communication channels during your exams or any troubles that you might be experiencing. She also left some contact details over there. She made, I think there was a list of emails, and then one of them kind of covered, for example, if you are observing some religious fast during your exams, there's a certain emails that you can send your request to, and then maybe you might be assisted so that certain accommodations can be made for you during those times. And then the fourth speaker, I believe she was the last speaker of the day. Her name is Ms. Tulisile Masibuko. She's from the Student Disciplinary Office. This one is very important, especially considering our scenario, our context. For example, us UNISA students, we are open distance learning. So usually our assessments, we do them online. So usually I think, let me just say, the challenge that we hear mostly is like, it's challenges such as, being flagged for misconduct in terms of writing or AI use or plagiarism. So these are the kind of difficulties that she kind of addressed. And I think the most important thing to kind of highlight is that she warned against misconduct such as using maybe inappropriate group chats to get like answers from them, or using social media. You know, like as UNISA students, you find on every social media platform, there's always a person offering to help you with the assignments, not even to help you, offering to do it for you. So she kind of warned against that. She outlined the serious consequences of the different misconducts. She also named them. For example, you might be suspended, whatever distinction you got might be revoked, your qualification may be cancelled, you may be suspended for a period of over 5 years, and not only suspended at UNISA, but suspended in all universities, which means this academic misconduct is stamped on your record forever. So you kind of have to keep watch for that and make sure you listen back to make sure you get the correct information. I think just to kind of close, I just want to note to the students that today's workshop is equally important as yesterday's workshop. So I just want you guys to know and to make use of the opportunity that will be afforded to you guys to ask as many questions as you possibly can to the speakers so that you get the correct answers. And then when you write your exams, you are set for success. So enjoy the rest of the workshop and have a great day. Thank you.
So Mr. Tolile Kaba is from the digital, is a digital learning advisor from the Deputy Registrar and Student Affairs and Regional Services in Gauteng region, and will be taking us through the scanner apps and other technical support.
Students and colleagues, thank you very, very much for this opportunity that I am given to speak to you this morning. I'm actually very excited that I am meeting up with you because it is almost the time of examination. And I take it, and I know for a fact that we all want to pass these exams that we are about to take on with great distinction. And we are here today to give you that kind of support during this time of the season. In about a week or so's time, you shall be starting off with the examinations. And as you do all know, that the UNISA exams are online. If you make a comparison to any other university, we are far different from those institutions. So it is expected of you as our students to do your examinations online and to use the tools and the platforms that we have in place for you in order for you to succeed for the exams that you're scheduled to write. I also hope that you think you know by now, at least from the sessions that you have attended yesterday, that the university takes no exception in terms of students who are writing exams without the tools that are in place. You could have written your exams and think that you are getting your distinction for the examination. If you have not used the tools, unfortunately, you are not going to make it through that examination because you are penalized in terms that you have not used the correct tools that are put in place. Now, what I want to speak to you about is related to technology in your examinations. I know many of you gets frustrated and stressed when it is time for exams and when you think that you have to use technology that will breach the space between your brain and that script that will get to the other end for marking. We are here as a technology unit, as you have seen in the first slide, right through the Gauteng region. You would find us in Sunnyside. We are based in Ekurhuleni. There are colleagues in the Vaal, Florida, as well as Omonde, who would be there to support you with your technology devices when you are preparing yourself for your exams. One of the big things we are picking up from our students is that many of you may or may not know the program or application that you ought to use when you write your examinations. And the widely used program is called Microsoft Word, which is expected of each student to use when you write the exams. Obviously, before you can start writing that examination, you ought to have downloaded your examination script through the exam platform. I'm going to cover that after this bit. But once you are there, you get into Microsoft Word. And I'm almost certain that many of you who are in this session today have had an opportunity to do assignments that required of you to use Microsoft Word. And I know there was probably some of you who did not have the Office or Microsoft Word installed, and you made means to have that. It's the very same platform that you used to type the assignments that you're going to use in the exams, to type those exams. What is also important for you is to make sure that when you start typing in a Word document, start giving it a name, maybe whatever the examination script requires of you to call that examination file. So if you have opened up the Word file, it's blank. Maybe it says to you, call it your student number and your module code, and that it's your examination, for instance. That's what you'll call it. And as you work through the examination paper, please try to save your work that you are typing regularly, means at least every 3 to 5 minutes of having typed work saved, because you never know when you will run out of power or when your computer will decide to switch itself off. And if it does that, in many instances, if the computer was not set to autosave, you are losing the work that you have already done for that examination script. Perhaps you have covered your first 2 questions in the examination script. And if it is that you had not saved, and that's when your computer malfunctions, and autosave is not set to the computer, you would lose that what you have done. So please, every 3 to 5 minutes, just hit the save button. It will not even take you 5 seconds to do so. Then you know, even if the power runs out, you will still be able to retrieve the work because you've given it a name and you've saved it to a location. And make sure that you use the correct file name. Like I said, it may be that the lecturer has indicated in the examination script what the the file should be saved as. So a lot of students jump reading the instructions because you rush to start the examination. When you must start saving, then you don't know what you must save the file as, and you start panicking and looking around what and where is the name of this file that I'm supposed to put or save it as. So start at the beginning. That is your instructions. It is going to help you to know what the what the name of the file should be. Make sure that you do review or relook at your work before you give it in for submission. That simply means that if you still have time left, because I'm sure in yesterday's session, you guys were told that there is examination time and there is submission time. You must make sure that within the examination time that is allocated to you, if there is time left from the examination time, you relook at your work and check whether there's any question that you may have missed and not completed, so that you can, if you have the time and know the answer at that point in time, complete it, or maybe some spelling is wrong here or there, you correct that before you do your submission. And if you are satisfied that the file that you've been working on is actually going to grant you the distinction that we all are looking forward to obtain at the end of this semester, you then will do the next step of saving that file, which is converting it into PDF. And I know all of you who are in here were given assignments and you all had to convert a MS Word file into PDF at the end of the day. And I am taking it for granted now that you all know how to convert that to PDF. But do not use stress thereover, because I will also cover that just now. But you need to know, once the file is ready for submission, convert the file to PDF, and then you can only submit or will submit your PDF file. Right, now my next slide is going to speak to you about the PDF submission or converting your file to PDF. You now have got your Microsoft Word file that I've just spoken to you about over the last few minutes. You finished typing, you proofread it, you looked at where you hadn't answered, and you're satisfied that your distinction is coming through. What you do then is, if you look at the left side of this screen or slide, it slightly gives you some steps or instructions, and the picture also gives you a visual effect of what you then do. You go, obviously, File, Save As, and then you look for the location or browse, and then you would decide whether you want to save that file onto your desktop, or if you are using OneDrive, onto your OneDrive, and you will then look in the box right in front of us. This is called a dialog box. You will go to file name and ensure that the file name is that what the examination paper instructed you to make it. Could have said that, like I said in the beginning, make it your module code or your student number and module code. That should be the name of the file, but it could vary from paper. And then as you go to Save As Type, that's where you go to change your Word file to be a PDF file. So you'll just click where it says Word document. It'll give you a drop-down list that looks like what you see there. It gives you a whole lot of extensions, different kinds of formats that you can save the file as, and we will go to select the one that is in blue. That is the PDF file. And once you have done so, you press Save. The file then converts into PDF. It is that converted file that will get submitted through your examination portal, because there is no difference between your examination portal and the assignments portal. The assignments portal you used when you were in the semester and you were going through my modules. This time you are not going to go through my modules, but that is, for many of you, going to be the link that you are going to use when you go to submit your examination. If you look to the far left of my slide, there is in blue the link to your examination that you will be writing. Once you click on that link, the right-hand side will pop up. It will show timetable and examination period that you are in. So this example shows an examination period that was January, February 2026. Then it's got some important notes for the students to read there in gray. And if you look thereafter, it shows you the dates. It will put them out in groups of 5 at a time. So it's 5 days at a time. That would just be an example. If exams had to start on the 29th, which was yesterday, until the 5th, it's about 5 days. If, for instance, you had to write an exam on the 5th of May, you were going to go there on the 5th of May, click on your date. Then it was going to show all the examination papers in terms of links that are available for that day, and you will click the correct link, which is yours. And the nice thing of it as well is that in brackets, it tells you the proctoring tool that you are using, which is either an Invigilator app or a what are the other ones? Iris, if you are doing CSET modules, or Moodle proctoring, that is if it is a multiple choice examination. Then you know in terms of that how you actually should be preparing for your examinations. But beforehand, you can also know that which tools are used for your different examinations and prepare accordingly. If I must quickly go back to the gray area that you see in front of you, you will see it's telling you something in bold. I won't read that because you must. But if you then look at the blue, the last two blues, that says your step-by-step guide for successful online examinations is important for you to go through. So look at that beforehand, like a day or so before your exams. You can still get there and read through that. It is going to help and guide you in terms of how you will get ready for your exams. And what is very important, you can even do this today, the one that says exam contact details. Let me promise you this today. You're going to need that link. So you better make sure today, you are seeing the link already. I hope you are making notes where you are of that link, that you will go and click on where it says exam contact details. When you do that, it is going to give you a table with the different colleges. College of Science, Engineering, of Technology, and all the other ones that we have, like education and so forth in the university. You focus in the section of the table that has got to do with your qualification, and then you take down that details. Keep it in a book that will stay with you throughout the examinations, because you need this information that as soon as you start writing and there is a technical issue around you accessing the paper or so, you have to make the call immediately. We don't wait until the end of the exam before we report the challenge we have experienced during the exam. It is too late for you to get help after that. Say you've written for an hour and you are now an hour, 20 minutes into exam. Within that 20 minutes, you are experiencing a challenge with the paper, or not the paper, but there is a technical issue. You have to report it immediately so that they can see how they can assist your technical issue at that point in time. If it takes them 10 or 15 minutes to fix the problem, then you are granted an extension of 10 or 15 minutes into your examination because you've reported it immediately. You didn't wait until the end of the exam. But if you do wait until the end of the exam, you will be advised for aggro-TEDs or re-registration and things like that. So you are at an advantage point if you report the issue in terms of technology failing you while you are writing. Then you are actually very safe. So this is a point, that's why I'm stressing it so much. A lot of students don't do that, but this is important for you to bear in mind. You're 30 minutes in the exam, 35 minutes at minute number 35, there's a technical issue. Report it immediately. If it takes that person 5, 6, or 10 or 20 minutes, they will say to you, all right, we are going to extend your examination with another 10 or 15 minutes. So there is nothing you have lost, though you have lost in terms of technology issues, but you were granted back the time. We are noting the hands, and I think we will entertain them when we get to the end of the session. Please write down the questions. I have seen a few coming up as I'm presenting. Please don't forget them. Just write them down so we can address them with you while we are in the session. I'm passing that stage of your examination platform. Now I'm looking into or moving into the next aspect, which is your technology support that we offer to you before exams, not on the day of the examinations, please. Because if you come on the day of examination, just imagine how many students you need to have. If all of you had to come on the day of exams and you want us to support you with technology, it will be almost impossible for all of you to write your examinations. So please plan your studies. You were told yesterday, and I'm sure many speakers that are going to come in today will speak to you in terms of planning your studies and making provision for the unforeseen events and circumstances. Right. So we advise and we ask you that you come to any of the regional centers before, even it's 2 or 3 days before you write your exams, and ask for the technology unit. It is usually the computer labs. We can have a look at your device and we can see how we can help you to get you ready for the exams and even take you through the proctoring tools that you need for the examinations. And this is just to give you a layout of what you need to put in place as you prepare yourself for the exam, except the fact that you're going through the content, very important because that's what you're assessed on. But also important is the platforms that you're using, and that you make sure that you are doing it according to this, or not necessarily according to it, but that your things are in place so that you don't know that you have done a distinction kind of work material in terms of content, but you failed yourself by not doing the technology aspect thereof. Because we are telling you it's in April now. You are not being failed, but we are not failing you. We're trying to tell you that we are here for you. Come and see us, and we can help you through these 5 steps. I don't think I will read through them. I've given you much, but maybe quickly. On the first one, you want to, if you can, by yourself, if you have the technology background, you can do all 5 steps by yourself. Check if your laptop is updated in terms of Windows, if your browsers or caches have been cleared, if you have got the appropriate examination software so that you can have smooth performance over this examination. And I need to warn you also that a lot of you buy laptops with the intention or purpose that it should work for you for examinations during the course of your studies. But then you don't do that. I was a little bit distracted. Sorry, it was a student that just walked in. But what you do then is let me skip that one. It was a big distraction. I'm moving to the next one. You must also make sure, remember, examinations are written from where you are. At home, at wherever you are comfortable, you must write your exams there, but test the connectivity up front. And testing up front means you connect there already every day. Like today, you're connected at that very spot that you're at. You know how the connectivity is there already. So you have already done the testing. So the experience tells you that at a certain time of the day, it becomes an issue. Here where I am now, I must probably consider elsewhere. Or no, it is actually perfect throughout the day. Then you don't have to worry about you and your stability of connectivity, unless if there is a problem with the service provider, then it's something else. Then you would have to look into an alternative means of connectivity. So you must always have a backup when you want to connect. It is that source that you're using. Say you are using Home's connection, which is a home internet connection, but also have something that is related maybe to data on your phone, that if it fails you at home, that you can quickly switch on your Wi-Fi that is on your phone and hotspot yourself so that you can continue to write the examination. Yes, UNISA doesn't take excuses. I think the people of yesterday spoke to what are valid reasons and what are regarded as not valid reasons when you do exams. I'm not going to speak much into that. And number 3 is for the PDF story that I spoke to you about. And yeah, it's make sure that you have Microsoft Office, especially Microsoft Word, because you will have to type your exams there, and make sure that you know how to convert to PDF, which I have shown you not long back, and that you have got a browser, because the browser is important for you to access the examination script. So your browser can be Google Chrome, which I always recommend. It is quite faster, very fast, or you can use Microsoft Edge. Microsoft Edge comes with the laptop, or it's a package of Office already. You decide, and you can use that what has been working for you throughout the semester. The intention is not to make you change your mind; it's to work with what has been working with you. So we are not looking to reinvent the wheel. And number 4 is a very important one. You must make sure that you clear unnecessary files. And I spoke to you about movies that you guys like to put onto your laptops. They make them to run slow. And music, it's maybe good for recreational purposes that you unwind. But why are you putting it on that device? Can't you put it elsewhere or on OneDrive? Because if it is on OneDrive, those things, then it doesn't affect your laptop's performance. It is in the cloud. You must just have internet access to access those kind of things, right? So please keep your laptop clear of unnecessary files, such as movies, music, and those pictures that you like taking all the time. Keep them on the cloud, not on the laptop. Yes, keep all your study work on the laptop, because that's the reason why you purchased it. And then the next one is batteries. We must also make sure that our batteries are fully charged, as much as we are going to connect to power during the exams. For the event that you run into load shedding, that we hope won't happen, we were promised by the minister that we are not going to have, but we never know. That if you have your devices fully charged, and check the battery health. In other words, the lifespan of that battery. Is it still going to maintain you? Let me tell you quickly, my battery can only last me for an hour and a half, because I've had this laptop for 5 years. So what it means is the longer you keep the device, the shorter the lifespan of the battery becomes. So I can only have it for an hour and a half, and thereafter I must make sure that I am connected. So I've resorted to keeping it in the charger, rather, that I don't disappoint myself. These are the things that you have to keep in mind and be certain of. If you have a 10-year-old or 15-year-old laptop, I can guarantee you now that it can disappoint you in your examinations. Right. And guys, I thought I wasn't going to take that much time up, but I was given time. And let me not abuse the platform, but let me also speak to important things. Let us help you succeed. When I say so, I speak from a technologies perspective. I have explained to you that there is regional centers across Gauteng that you can visit at your convenience. We are based here in Ekurhuleni, and if you are close by Davidton, you will come in and we will support you to make sure that your device conforms to what you see in front of you before your examinations. If you bring it in, for instance, you might have to write a Moodle proctoring exam or an IRIS exam. Then we have to come and test, or you can test the camera webcam yourself from where you are, as well as the microphone, because these are the features within or on your device that will be used in addition to the proctoring tool to help invigilate your exam. It helps us to then see that through webcam that it's a real student who is writing themselves. The microphone is to pick up if there's anybody who speaks to you or gives you answers during the exams. If any of these are deactivated during the exam, it becomes a disqualification or an issue that your examination may not get marked because you are not conforming to the rules and standards of the university's proctoring tools. You must also make sure that you disable any notification that comes up on your laptop. And if you don't know how to do that, once again, we are here to help you with that. I unfortunately haven't got the whole day to take you through all of these, but I'm giving you hints of what we can do for you, that when you do come to any one of the centers in Gauteng, this is what we can help you with. If you have an updated antivirus on your laptop, make sure that you check that your laptop remains secure, because there is what we call cyber security as well. And that is why we combine the workshops that we offer with cybersecurity to help you also understand how that can impact the examinations that you are writing. You by now must know what your UNISA's logins are, and I think you've had the experience that when you change a phone number or a device, you may find that you are not able to connect because it has to be fixed again through ICT and stuff like that. You have to check these things before your examinations, please, not on the examination days, so that we can help you and you are sorted out. Okay. And I spoke to that last one a lot already. This year is just to show you some trainings or trainings that we are looking, which we are not looking to, which we are going to have in the month of May. And that is going to get you into much, much detail and ensure that you are completely sure from ready from a technology's perspective. If you make time to come and attend, that's what you see in front of you. So it is proctoring tools and cybersecurity training that we will be offering in Ekurhuleni, which is here in Davidton. And if you can see, those are the dates we have. You are welcome to book. We have given you email addresses and phone numbers. If you wish to book with us, then we can help you to be at peace when you sit on that examination day and just have to worry about what is the answer to this question, because you know the next aspect of technology has been taken care of. So we are making sure that we do it before your exams start, so that that would be addressed when you write your exams. Some of you may not be able to attend before exams. That is why you will see that these sessions run right through the month of May, because when you can, you will come through. We are open for one-on-one sessions. We prefer to do a full training session, but where we can, we would do one-on-ones. I thank you very much, Chairperson. I am done.
Thank you so much for such valuable information. Let's make use of the support that we have at the university as students, and then we can make a great future for ourselves to achieve those dreams and goals we have as students.
I needed to ask if you've got a problem when you're staying in an area where there's no electricity. Because right now I'm situated in informal settlement where there's no electricity. So I wanted to ask if they do allow us to go to write exams in regional centers.
Chairperson, yeah, I heard the question. May I please take them in threes, and then I think I will respond accordingly.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, for the informative session. I just wanted to ask, if I am located in Cape Town, do we also have the same services available to us? Like, can we go to the campus and also get our laptops and devices checked?
I just wanted to ask that the contact for a one-on-one session.
Thank you very much. Busisiwe regional service centers are available to you for use. And okay, there is computer labs, right? But not the computer labs for your exams. We have Wi-Fi that is available on campus. So if you are on a campus and there is a venue that you find quiet, or a space that is quiet to you to use with your own device, then you can use it, because then you will have at least access to, because I understand your issue is electricity, you'll be able to charge your device and you would have connection to Wi-Fi. But it is at your own prerogative, or at your own discretion that you do so. It can be anywhere that you go and use facilities to do your exams, as long as it's a safe and quiet space. I think that is allowed. So I wouldn't say to you that, no, you cannot come to regional center to write your exams. But I can say to you, yes, you cannot come into a computer lab to write exams, because it is a very busy space where there is students walking in and out, and you are writing. You need privacy if there is walking around you. Remember, I spoke to you about the cameras that must be on, the microphones that must function. So those things get to be picked up. It can come through as if you are cheating the examination. So find a quiet spot on campus if you get to one, and use your device there and then I think you are sorted out. For Cape Town student, I think was ZB. You wanted to know if the service is also available in Cape Town. Yes, if you go to a computer lab in Cape Town, you are able to get the service in the computer lab there too. Then the last student was Robella, I think, who wanted to know in terms of one-on-one sessions. Like I have shown, there is a slide that I gave. The second last slide was to show you that we are doing training. So if you can come in for the training sessions, you're welcome to do so. But if you cannot, for whatever the reason is, you then make arrangements with the DLAs, who are us, digital learning advisors, within the area that you are at. If you are in Ekurhuleni, then you're welcome to. I'm gonna put on the chat. I will put the slide number 10 because it's got our contact information, and you're welcome to arrange to have a one-on-one session, and we can run you through the one-on-one session.
For now, we're gonna call Ms. Sophie van der Walt for tuning and plagiarism, as well as the effective use of AI. So she's the information search librarian from Library and Information Services.
I really want to welcome you to this session. It really is important for you to know during non-venue exams, what are you supposed to do with AI? Because you need to learn how to do it responsibly. What can you do? What can't you do? So a non-venue exam is simply an examination written remotely. If you attended the sessions yesterday or even today, they were talking a lot about the different ways that you can write. So this one specifically focuses on you're not in an exam. So academic integrity is really, really important in any environment, but more especially this one, where there's no physical invigilator that supervises you directly. So honesty ensures fair assessment, it protects the value of your qualification, and confirms that what you've given in these reflects your own work and your understanding. So what we're going to go through is so that you can understand what's expected of you and the use of AI, that there's different assessment types, how you can use it for your learning and exam prep, why you need to recognize that AI threatens the integrity of your exam and your studies and your qualification, and then practical things that you can do. So at the moment, the most important thing for any of this is read the exam instructions. We will take 101s as well for this specific course, any notes that your lecturer gave you for the exam, and also make sure that you know the academic integrity policy, so what you can do, what you can't do. Basically, what the outcome is for this workshop is that you understand, let's go back, that you understand the non-venue exam expectations and how you can use GenAI, the different assessment types. They've talked about it quite extensively yesterday, and they've talked a little bit about it today. Responsible use of AI, and then how AI threatens exam integrity, and then how you can avoid the risk, and then some practical stuff. It doesn't help if we just tell you what you can't do and we don't really explain to you like how you're supposed to use it. So the different assessment types is continuous assessment. So you have those multiple tasks that build across the semester. You have the formative assessments with for learning. You're practicing something, you're giving feedback. The whole point of it is that the assessment is for your learning. And then summative assessments, where it's your assessment of the learning. So the final judgment, exams, things like that. So exam rules apply to all assessments, regardless of where you are. Your work has to be done independently, and only authorized sources must be used. Continuous assessment is multiple tasks. So there you can use it to help you brainstorm and things like that, but you can't really use it in the assessment itself. So students, for some, especially for all of these, you should never use AI to generate your answers for you. So unless part of this examination you're doing a course where AI is integrated or it is a course about AI, then you follow the exam rules. But it's really important for you to understand um, these different, what are these assessment actually testing? Is it your understanding of it? Um, what specifically it is? Okay, so then if you want to use it effectively, like, okay, so what are you supposed to use? So you can use it. So how you can use it is you can, AI is really helpful to help you clarify something where you don't understand something. A lot of us, myself included, English is not my first language. English is my second language. I'm from the Free State, specifically the World Triangle. So I'm always happy in any of these things where I hear people talk about the World Triangle. Um, and academic English is like a totally different form of English, even from what we learned at school. A lot of us, English is actually our third or even maybe our fourth language. So sometimes you don't understand what is asked of you. You read something, but you don't understand the English. AI is really helpful for that to say, I have this concept or I have this text. Please explain this to me in a simple language. But this is after you've actually tried it. So you've really tried, because I mean, the point of being at a university is actually to access that higher thinking. So it's helpful for that. It's really helpful to help you practice for tests. So you say, this is what I learn. Help me generate like 4 multiple choice questions. Um, or help me with a question where I have to give 3 facts, 1 application, 1 evaluation, where you're actually using the AI tool to help you learn. You can help it, you can help use AI to help you brainstorm the structure of or an outline before you write. So you're like, I have to write this thing. What should be the structure? Don't give me content, just give me the structure. What should be the things that I discuss? It really helps in with your grammar. Like I said, especially for the state English that I have, my grammar is not always, even when I was at school, my grammar was not all that hot. So I really need that to help me a little bit. And then as you use it, obviously, then you learn to write yourself. And then if you want to create practice scenarios for your specific model. So it's really just brainstorm. It's not saying answer these questions for me or write this exam for me. It's like a study buddy that you can use, but like a study buddy that wants you to succeed. So you never, never, never ask it to generate something and then you just give it as your answer, because that would be dishonest. So when does this become dishonest? So here we're saying you can use AI responsibly to help you in these things, but where's that line where, okay, now you're going to get in trouble? And it becomes misconduct when you ask it to write your exam answer. So it acts as a ghostwriter rather than a co-creator. I don't know if you know, but a lot of these biographies and books that celebrities and important people write, they actually have ghostwriters. So they tell the story to the ghostwriter, and then the ghostwriter comes and writes this award-winning book. But that's fine if you're a celebrity and you're writing a book and people know that you didn't write it. AI, you can't do it. You cannot use it as a ghostwriter. It's a collaborator to help you plan. So if you just ask it to write your exam question, so write this essay for me, and you copy and paste it directly into your submission. I mean, you can maybe say, oh, I'm changing a paragraph here, I'm changing a sentence here. No, no misconduct. And using humanizers or paraphrasing tools. So you do get tools that can humanize AI for you or paraphrase it. A lot of these grammar tools you can paraphrase. And if you think, oh, I'm taking the AI content just as it is, putting it in that and saying, paraphrasing, copying that, and then pasting it in, they'll never catch me out. No, they will. Using AI during a closed or monitored exam where it's not permitted. So where it's not permitted, if you use it, it is automatically misconduct because you knew you weren't supposed to use it. And if you submit your work and there are questions back and you cannot explain or defend, like, where did you get this? So AI supports learning, but in a summative assessment, the exam is actually designed to test your competence under time constraints and exam rules. So asking AI to write the answer for you, copying and pasting the text, even if you like edit some of the things or paraphrase it using Grammarly, or you try and disguise that actually this is AI, it all counts as you submitting work that isn't actually your own. Um, and even if you then cite in the exam that you used AI, that doesn't make it acceptable, because the assessment is actually not testing the sources that you used to answer, but it's testing your individual understanding of the concept. So if you can't explain or defend your answers in a verification, it's strong evidence that AI has crossed from supporting you into misconduct. Um, so, for example, in this scenario, where you have a 24-hour take-home exam essay question, irresponsible use of AI would be to say, write me the full 500 word answer on this topic, and then you go and watch sport, or you go hang out with friends, or you go do something else. Because what happens then is you get this generic response back that's not specific to that question or your course or even your module or anything in the course. It then doesn't align with your course and your integrity as a course, because you didn't actually do that work. A more responsible way of doing this would be, if I have this topic, what are 3 key issues? That's it. So it's just saying, okay, in this thing, remember you have to address 1, 2, 3. Then you go back to the module material and you plan and write in using your own voice after you've read all the information. So you're using it more to just help you get a framework, and then you populate the framework, if that makes sense. So it's really important that you understand that the value of these type of essay questions is not to see who can answer it the quickest. It's to see if you understand and can explain and synthesize all of this information that you had to learn for your module, and defend the positions that you've taken. So AI can't replace your thinking. It can only support you. So academic integrity, how AI affects the exam academic integrity policy. Integrity means that assessments must be fair, honest, and genuinely your own work. So using AI dishonestly gives some students an unfair advantage. Like I was saying, English is not my first language, so I don't always write in academic English, so sometimes it doesn't come across as very highbrow. But if I use AI, guys, I sound like the most amazing lecturer anyway. Plus, it gives me all of these extra things I didn't think of, which is an unfair advantage. I mean, doing a course and doing a degree means that I need to get my own academic voice, my own academic English, and what works for me. It also weakens your critical skills, because you outsource the hard work of reasoning. You're outsourcing it to a machine, and then you're just taking what that machine says and you're saying, oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm just going to write that. But you actually yourself don't have your own opinion, or there was no critical process involved for you to come up with the answer that you gave. And even if you have AI text, like I said in the previous slide, and you like lightly edit it, it's still not your work, which makes it misconduct. So AI detection tools are used. They are imperfect, and sometimes they can produce false positives and negatives. A lot of them actually pick up English second language speakers, English as being AI generated, because we use a simpler language structure, and we don't go into complex long sentences. So we use AI detection tools, but the markers actually focus on the quality of your reasoning, the course alignment, and the consistency of the work. These markers, this is not their first rodeo. They can read your answer and they can see, do you understand the work? Does it sound like your own voice? How closely does it align with what's in that module or in that course? And has it been consistent? So it's, like I said, they don't rely on technology. They are actually the experts in the market. So the safest way to approach this is to produce your own authentic answers, grounded in your course reading, and then keep evidence of your learning, drafts, your notes, your planning, so that if it comes back and it says, oh, we bet you use AI, you can say, no, but look, here were my notes and my summaries and my planning when I was preparing for this, so that you can defend yourself. So if you look at these two passages, you can see passage 1 talks, says a contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more parties. Firstly, there must be an offer and an acceptance. Furthermore, the parties must have the intention to create legal relations. In conclusion, the agreement is enforceable by law if it meets all of these requirements. Passage 2 says, I remember my uncle's situation in Polokwane where a verbal deal fell through. It showed me that offer and acceptance matters, but proving intention is the real headache. In South African law, you need more than a handshake, a clear documented consensus. So if you look at those two passages, which one sounds more like a human? Is it A or is it B? Because if you look at A, you'll see there's very generic help and phrasing. It does, it sounds good, but it doesn't, there's no context to it. It's very smooth, almost overly smooth. It sounds prepared. And there's a lack of course specific detail. It says, like it's very neutral. There's little to no context. There's also some other things that you can see that maybe this isn't a human. All the sentences are more or less the same. There's generic transitions. Furthermore, in conclusion, firstly, like nobody talks like that in real life. Whereas in passage B, there's a context. The sentences differ. You have a sense of somebody explaining something to you. So the reason why I'm showing you this is not so that you can take passage A and change it into passage B. So take AI stuff and change it so that it sounds more like you. But it's to show you that the goal is not to beat the detection. It's to write authentically from understanding something. You understand your own personal voice, your lived experiences. So, like I said, detection versus disguise. Some tools attempt to humanize AI. It's a high risk misconduct because it shows intention. You may have used AI inadvertently, but you intended to hide the fact when you try to humanize it. These tools change very fast. AI in general changes very fast, but these tools also change to keep up with them. So in the end, nobody's winning. Even if it's detected, the system misses it, the markers will notice generic answers that don't really say anything. So even this year, for Turnitin, they have introduced 4 layers of analysis where they look at what you submit when you use Turnitin. Document level, then also at the segment, then they cross-reference it against academic databases, and the authorship verification looks at your previous writing style. So nobody wins when you use these things. It's really just, guys, don't cheat. Please don't cheat. So in exams, what is expected of you is to give original on-the-spot reasoning. Eh? You've done the study, you've done the coursework, you've done all the assignments, and now they ask you a question on the spot, and then you use what you've learned and you give it. So citing things, that belongs to assignments in the research, sometimes the formative assessment. But in a summative assessment, the safest choice is not to use AI to generate answers for you. If, like I said, if you swap a few words out, it's still misconduct. Using grammar tools over and over can also, you run the risk of removing your academic natural. And it sounds more machine-like with every iteration that you run it through. Remember, AI can hallucinate facts, which means it makes up. AI is like that really annoying friend that you have that always wants to please you. It's nice for a while, but after a few instances, it becomes really annoying. AI always wants to give you an answer, even if they have to make it up. So even if AI gives you an answer, verify it against the module resources that you have to make sure that it's correct. And in summative exams, generating AI text and citing it doesn't apply. That's not the point of that assessment and exam. So a simple method that you can use is to keep a prompt log. I know it sounds like another thing that you have to do, but it's really very helpful. The purpose of a prompt log is to have transparency and accountability. So when a lecturer asks you to explain how did you get to this answer, you can actually, or it's flagged through any of the AI detection tools. You actually have a document that shows how you use prompts. So when you're studying, you can save your prompts or you can write them down, you can screenshot them with the AI output. And then you keep versions of your drafts. So how you've changed your thinking, how it developed. You indicate what did you accept from this, what did you reject, and then why, based on your coursework that you read and the information from the model. And then you fact check with your study guides you're reading, and then the library, people, the library is amazing. UNISA has the best electronic online library in the Southern Hemisphere. There's almost nothing that you can't find in the library's databases. So please don't trust AI. Trust the library's database. If you use it when you're allowed to use it, you have to disclose. So there are 3 colors, like a traffic light. Green is if AI is used for grammar check, spelling, giving me a synonym, something like that, brainstorming, that kind of thing. Yellow is where you're using it for more collaborative things. So you're using AI more for outlining a chapter, finding citations, things like that, but you're still verifying everything it gives you via our library databases. And then red is what you're not allowed to do is using AI to draft entire paragraphs, or you give your whole document and you say rewrite it, or you ask it to generate code, especially with the coding if that's not explicitly stated that you can. Because remember, when it comes to the Bloom's taxonomy of learning, marks come from applying the information, analyzing it, evaluating it, and then creating something. None of those AI should be involved in. Because then what's the point of you studying? Then we can give your degree to the AI model that you use because you didn't actually use any of your higher level thinking. You didn't access that. So you can screenshot this slide. This is a checklist or like a habit tool that you can follow if you're not sure. It helps you just defend the authenticity of your learning. So in the preparation phase, I use AI only to clarify concept or plan a revision. Like I have so much time, I need to cover all of these modules. Help me get a revision plan ready so that I go through everything at least once or at least twice. In the prep, again, I kept a prompt log and I saved key study notes and drafts. In your writing phase, my answers are in my own voice and I can explain them. So you've looked at what I gave you in the prep and then the brainstorming, but then you actually went with your own voice when you wrote. Integrity, I did not use AI to generate any exam answers or to hide AI text generated. I verified key facts with module resources and the library. And then compliance, I followed remote invigilation rules for the whole session. So this is not like a university thing. This is just a nice checklist for you to have to remind you of when you can use it. And then you can really, like AI is a wonderful tool, guys. I'm not saying don't use it unless in your module and for that course, your lecturer specifically prohibits the use of AI. But if you can learn how to use it effectively, it actually enhances your learning. Never use it to replace your learning, because then what is the point of you actually studying? Remember, read your study guide and then go and do your own practice. Ask AI to explain something you don't understand in that study phase. But then when it comes to exams, close your AI and write from what you understand. Because in the end, you need to protect your qualification and your future opportunity. If you are studying and working, you might know this, but AI is being used by people in the office, but it's being used responsibly. So it's important for you to learn how to use it responsibly now, so that when you get into a job or a career, you already know when you can use it and when can't you, and you don't use it to pass it off as your own work. And that's it from me.
Ma'am, I'm also facing a disciplinary action due to also this AI misuse issue. And due to Min's explanation right now, I'm able to realize why, because I use AI to paraphrase most of my, most of my body's paragraphs in my essay, right? So I'm now being disciplined for that, and I am now, after her explanation, I understand why, which is because it seems as though me using AI to paraphrase and correct some of the spellings I did not trust, right? And also wordings, I'm being, you know, disciplined for that. I'm now able to understand or refine that was the problem. I shouldn't have done that. So now I want to know what exactly how exactly can I like explain this to my lecturer so that I don't get any harsh punishment or like something like being kicked out of the module? Am I unable to plead for that? Because I understand that obviously I cannot avoid punishment.
My question is, I just wanted to know in terms of the colors, because normally after I submitted my assessment, my assignment, after maybe a day or 2 days, I get a submission report indicating the color with the percentage on it. So I just wanted to know what are the colors mean, because normally I get for last assignment I got the yellow color with I think 16%. So I don't know what does that mean. So maybe if you can clarify on that issue of colors and the percentages on the Turnitin software system. Thank you.
Hi, Rukondo, and hi, Sophia. It's Zimasa speaking. I do have a question that I saw in the chat. I'm just going to summarize two of them that were quite similar. One person had asked if it is wrong to use Grammarly, and then someone else had also asked if it was okay to use AI to improve their spelling after writing something in their own words. Thank you.
Eli, it's a really difficult situation that you're in, because you've already been flagged and now you realize why you've been flagged. I don't work with the disciplinary code, so I can't give you advice for that. I can maybe just suggest to be honest with your lecturers, the way that you were now, and say you realize, and then see what happens. So unfortunately, I can't say any more than that because I don't work with the disciplinary side of things. In terms of the Turnitin the colors, I don't, like I said, because I'm not part of that system, I'm from the library, I can tell you, usually blue is there's no matching text, so there's zero, like they couldn't find it. Green is very little, there's low matching similarities. Yellow is moderate. So I see here they say between 25 and 49%, which is actually a very big margin, but it's like it's just flagging it, like maybe there's potentially some issues. And then orange is a higher matching, so more than half. And then red is 3/4 to 100. It's really, really very high. So that looks what I could find now to be the different colors. And then depending on what they say is allowed, it will either be yes, you're in the zone, so you're okay, or you should actually go and see if you can correct the information that was flagged. And then the third question was about, is it wrong to use Grammarly and can I use these things to change your spelling? It's not wrong to use Grammarly. If you use it at the phase where it's for spelling, or like you said, can I use it to correct my spelling? Yes, because spelling is not content. You're not asking it to rewrite content or restructure your paragraphs. It's basically just saying, pick up spelling mistakes, point them out to me, and then you can actually go in. But remember, with spelling, a lot of these AI models, almost all of them, are trained with global north data. So that means American spelling, not South African English spelling or UK spelling. So even when it comes to suggestions they make for spelling, remember that we have a different way. We use an S where the Americans a lot of times use a Z. When we write color, we have a U, they don't have a U. So always check everything that AI suggests for you. never just take it at face value. Okay, thank you so much.
Hi everyone, you're speaking to Zimasa. I would just like to introduce Dr. Kubega. Dr. Kubega is the academic literacy facilitator for the Gauteng region, and he will be presenting on the strategies for answering multiple choice questions and essay questions during the examination period. Thank you, Dr. Kubega. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I've been asked to talk about some strategies on how to answer different types of questions, basically your multiple choice questions and also your essay type questions. Those who are still getting the multiple choice questions and those who normally get their essay type questions, I hope that they will benefit from this short presentation. I'm hoping that you are able to hear me. I've tried to raise my voice up to my ability. I can't go beyond that. Thank you, colleagues. I just want to share this quickly with you. I think all of us were familiar with the Williams sisters. I think they are experts insofar as tennis is concerned. And one of them once said, I think it was Venus Williams, I was just projecting that quote. Thank you, colleagues. She once said, just believe in yourself, even if you don't, pretend that you do. And at some point, you will. So we always like you guys not to give up. Keep on believing on yourself. Hopefully, sometimes you'll succeed and meet and achieve your goal. I was listening to the colleagues who presented, I think two of them before me. I've picked some very valuable points. The one who spoke about artificial intelligence, the AI which we use. And the other one spoke about the exam tool, the proctoring tool which you use for examination. I just want to pick some few points from Mr. Gaba. I think what's important about that, he emphasized the aspect of practice. As we know that practice makes perfect. So one of the things which makes our students to have anxiety, stress, and depression, it's also when you start to use a certain tool for writing your exam, and that tool is going to invigilate you, especially when you are used to the in-person vigilation. So what I also want to add there, please follow the suggestion from the presenters so that you don't get that last minute preparation. And when you come to an exam, you find that now you have double stress. One, you didn't understand the content you are going to write about. Two, there's an invigilator tool which you don't even understand. We have time now, colleagues. It's end of April. We have more than 2 to 3 weeks to go and visit the learning centers so that they can assist you. Don't wait until the last minute, okay? But interesting with the colleagues who spoke about artificial intelligence. For me, I always say to my students, AI, it's not a tool which needs to think for you. It does generate ideas, okay? So you must use it for ideas generation. That's all you need to use the tool for. Otherwise, if you want it to think for you, you are going to have a problem. In other words, now you are just a robot in this course. Someone must think for you, and sometimes doesn't give you the answers which are correct. So we need to use it, try to use it more in there's a concept which they always use, that use it in a responsible way. Personally, I don't use it. I don't even go there. I think whatever I want to write, then put it my own way. The only time I can use some of these tools if I want to correct my language or grammar and so on. But for each to generate ideas for me, I need to do it myself. Okay, but it's fine. It's not my story for today. Mine is about how to answer some of these questions. We have different types of exam questions. I think some of us were coming from where we're given short answer questions, like for example, true or false, which you enjoy it the most. Sometimes they'll ask you to match column A, B. I don't know why they don't bring the next column. column C. I don't know why, but yeah. But today I want to focus on the multiple choice questions and also the essay type questions. If I have time, I could also talk about the case studies or scenarios, but I think the time is not enough for me. So I'll focus on these two, okay? One thing about the multiple choice questions, there are 2 or 3 ways on how to attempt them. Sometimes when we are in an exam, we end up with these type of questions because we think that they are very simple. And those are the difficult questions. I think some of you have already seen, if you had some of these type of questions in your assignment, how difficult it was, because we don't design or develop those multiple choice questions in the simplest way. Somewhere, somehow, you can lose some points around that. And one thing which I want to mention about this multiple choice question is that I assume that in our institution, we don't mark our student or grade our student negatively. In other institutions, there is negative grading or marking. In other words, they penalize you to give or to choose the wrong option. But I don't think we do that in this institution. So if we don't do that, some of the strategies which I've just projected, you can even apply them. Interesting is that I've put 3 of the strategies or ways on how you can answer this multiple choice question. I like the first one. The first one, normally, I always say to my student, take your answer book. In your answer book, close the options for each question. Then start to answer the statement or the question which has been asked without looking at the option. Because if you are looking at the question or the statement for the question, your subconscious mind tells you that number D is a correct answer. But if you don't see the option and you start to give the answer for the statement or the question, you will be able to get the correct answer. Then after you have done that, then you can look at the options you have chosen, whether it corresponds with the question or the statement they've asked. And please, colleagues, in that way, when you do your proofreading of your question 1 and so on, if it's multiple choice question, don't change anything, because sometimes we like to change. By the time you start to change, you will find that you are changing the correct option to a wrong one. The other one which I always like to do is that instead I'll look at each option A, B, C, D. Then I'll read it and look at the response in each of the options. And if option A, I realize that there are phrases or concepts which can make the statement or the question to be incorrect, I don't choose that one. Then I go to option B, I do the same. If I go to option C, then I realize there's no phrase or concept which can make the question or the statement to be incorrect, then I opt for that one. And the last one, it's a multiple choice question. We don't mark you negatively. In other words, if you give a wrong answer, we don't mark you. We don't mark you negatively. So why don't you use your guts and try to guess the correct answer? You can't leave a multiple choice question not being answered, okay? Then that's the last strategy. But you cannot start with this one. You need to try the other 2 options, okay? And remember that in your multiple choice questions, sometimes some of them questions or statements, they may trick you, okay? And one person once said to me, I don't know if it's correct, colleagues, I'm not saying that you must apply it, but he once said to me, if you are given 5 options in a multiple choice questions, always the middle one is a correct option. But sometimes it's not. So I'm not saying that if there are 5 options, then the middle option is the correct one. What will happen if there are 4 options? You don't have the middle one. So you must be able to look at that golden rule. I'm not sure if it's applicable, okay? But what's important also, answer that includes absolutes, you must also check them. For example, always, sometimes never, sometimes none. They always like to use the word none. They give you 3 options. They say none of those 3 options is correct, or whatever the phrase they want to use there. So you must also check those options, okay? Make notes of negative questions. Those are questions that includes phrases such as, which of these are not? Please, colleagues, look at this now. It says, which of these are not? In other words, they will give you maybe 4 options. And in your response, they want you to choose the options which are not related to a certain aspect. Okay? In other words, they are not asking you to give options which are correct. They want to find out which ones are not related to a certain aspect. Okay? They also use some of these negative questions, like, for example, all of this except. So you must be able to look at some of those phrases, colleagues, okay, in your statement or in your question, okay? They can also use negative questions like, for example, which one of the following is correct? And you must also look at the plural. If they say, which ones of the following are correct, then it tells you that in your options, there should be more than one which you need to choose from based on the options. So all these phrases, you must look at them when you try to analyze the multiple choice questions. So those are some of the aspects which you have picked up insofar as answering your multiple choice questions. I think some of us, we are coming from the essay type questions, especially if you are still doing your grade 12 last year and also in your grade 11 some years ago. You remember that in some of the subjects, they will expect you to write something out of 50 marks, and it's quite difficult, to do that. So your preparation, even in this year, if you have some essay type questions, in our case, at tertiary, some of them, they carry 10 marks, some of them 8 marks, and so on. There will be some which are carrying maybe 20 marks, okay? So you need to look at some of these aspects, okay? Step one, you need to read the question at least 2 times, so that you ensure that you understand it, okay? And as you are reading it, for the second time, you underline the important points in the question, okay? And look at these components also. What are those components? I think we don't look at this one, okay? The action verb. Sometimes we call it the instruction weight. I had this almost similar session yesterday with some of my students. I gave them an exercise, a very simple exercise. So then I projected it. Then I said to them, the instruction was read the following questions. Then I gave them 3 questions. Okay? Then I said for 2 seconds. As my students, they like artificial intelligence. They realized that 2 of those questions is beyond their understanding. They started to go on their cell phones. And I was looking at them. Then from there, I said, give me the response. And they gave me answers. They said, it's good, no problem. But then I referred to them that, why are you giving me answers? Because the instruction weight or the action verb was read. Why didn't you read these questions? I didn't ask answers from you. I said, read the following questions. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes in an exam, we don't understand the action verbs. So you must understand what is supposed to be done insofar as a question is concerned. Like we normally do, sometimes our students, they do that. We give them a question in an assignment for 5 marks. Then you get 2 full pages. You give them the same question for 5 marks in an exam, then you get 2 lines. So you can see that there's something wrong here, okay? But basically, you need to look at the action verb, understand it, look at the content, what you are supposed to answer on. It's an exam. I know that you have studied the other aspect, but if those aspects or content are not asked in an exam, don't put them in certain questions just to try to show to the assessor or the marker to say you have read a lot. At the end of the day, you have given a correct answer for a wrong question. We normally do that. Question 2, For example, ask you to give the 3 types of soil. So what you need to do there, a student will give you the 3 types of cars. It's just a simple example. Basically, what I'm trying to say, you are telling me as an assessor to say, we have read about this content, but you didn't ask me about this content. Why? So you put it anywhere in some of the questions. At the end of the day, you don't get any marks. We know that. The context also is very important. In some of the questions, they will ask you about the context. I always use an example for in economics. I'm not sure if they can ask you that at this level. Maybe they can ask you to discuss the causes of unemployment in South Africa. Basically, the context is South Africa. So you are not going to tell us about the causes of unemployment in another country. We want you to focus on this context, which is South Africa. But sometimes some of the questions, you won't find the context. You find the action verb or the verb itself and also the context. And the marks allocation is very important, colleagues. Don't undermine the marks allocation for a question. And that's why we say, when you look, after you've answered all the questions in the essay type question, when you do your proofreading within that 5 minutes before you submit your answer book, okay, online, as you normally do, check each question. For example, if you are asked to provide or to discuss something which is worth 15 marks, look at your answer and say to yourself, what you have given here as your answer for this question, does it worth 15 marks? If you're given us 3 lines, then it means you need to redo something about that question. So marks allocation are very important to look at them because they guide you to say how much you're supposed to provide as your answer for a certain question, especially in the essay type question. But interesting also about the essay type question, you need also to start to answer it in this way, okay? Definitely we say you must read it more than once. And another important aspect, which I always say my students they must do, as you are reading it for the second time or the third time, you need to identify important points or phrases like I've said, but how to answer and also make sure that you provide what is expected in each question, okay? Especially the essay type question. A mind map or an outline will assist you. And that mind map or outline, you build it when you are making your summaries or your notes. And I'm telling you, the way you memorize and revise and internalize that mind map or the outline during the revision session, that's how you're going to remember the responses in an exam. So the outline itself, you need to make sure that you cover most of the aspects if it's not given, okay? Because I've seen those who are doing English 1 and all of those things, especially English 1C in some of the institutions, they'll give them an outline to say, in this question, provide the introduction, the main idea, and the supporting points. So if you're not given some of these aspects, you look at the marks allocated. They'll say, okay, it's an essay type question. What I'll do, I'll start first by giving an introduction, a brief introduction. Then I allocate some marks to that introduction. If the essay type question is out of 20 marks, then I'll say, okay, my introduction to introduce this essay, I'm going to allocate the introductory part to 5 marks. Then the main component, if for example in the main content of the question, I'm supposed to touch on 4 or 3 things. Let's say you're supposed to touch on the causes of unemployment, and you identify 5 of them. Then the bulk of your marks are going to be allocated to the main points or the main idea. Okay, so maybe you can say in your case it's 20 marks. I'll give maybe 10 to that part of my content, okay? Then already I'm left with only 5 marks. Then the other 5 marks, I'll do my concluding remarks. In other words, I'll allocate it to my conclusion. So I'll conclude and give maybe some few points about this essay type question, which I was supposed to answer. So you break it down so that at least you are able to cover all the aspects. As you are doing all of these, colleagues, you are able to get some few marks from each section, okay? Interesting about the essay type question, you must also, sometimes you give relevant examples, but Please, we always say to our students, if a question doesn't ask you to give any example, don't start by giving examples, okay? Because sometimes students will start by giving examples. You find that in all 2 paragraphs, we are dealing with examples now as an assessor, and you didn't ask for the examples. So if they don't ask you any example, you don't have to give it, because sometimes other assessors, whether you have given the correct content and support that content within an example, they are not going to look at that example because they didn't allocate any point to those examples, okay? And interesting also, try to use your own words, please. We call it paraphrasing. You are a student, we expect you to think critically. Try to use your own words most of the time. There are other aspects, definitely. You'll take them the way they are presented in your study material, okay? But others, you need to try to put it in your own words. Like in your assignment, like the other colleagues have asked there. Your assignment, why sometimes you get so many colors and also so many percentage insofar as the aspect of similarities, is that they are saying to you, there are other authors who spoke about this aspect and you have not cited them in the text. That's why they say to you, go and look at these authors and cite them in the next submission. Okay? Because sometimes we think that what we are giving, other people have not spoken about it. But it's a topic for another day, that one. Avoid to repeat yourself. Allocate time to proofread. I think I've spoken about that one also. Some few instruction words. Make sure that you understand their meaning. I'm not going to go through all of them. If they say describe, what does it mean? It means you explain the characteristics, nature of something. No opinion or argument are needed when you describe. When you discuss, definitely we expect you to evaluate according to a certain criteria or points of view. Debate the point of view, okay? If they ask you to explain, in other ways, they want you to give a clearer understanding, clarify the term or concept by explaining it in a simple term using your own words. Sometimes we like to use those big words. And for me, I don't know why I'm using them, okay? And justify, definitely, or motivate, they want you to give reasons as a validation, okay, for your opinion. If they say substantiate, they always want you to provide support to your answer to strengthen it. In other words, you must give more to your response or to your answer. I think there are many of them, colleagues. I'm not going to go through all of them. There are a few pointers insofar as the exam preparation are concerned. One of the pointers, which I think now we're faced with, in the past, before, especially before COVID, we're not faced by that. The use of the invigilator tool is one of them, okay? The challenge of avoiding to use artificial intelligence during exam, because they are going to pick it up, whether you like it or not. But these are some of the general pointers. Again, we expect you, when you prepare for the exam, you need to have the exam format in mind. Know what type of questions you are going to get in that exam, okay? Don't get any surprise, okay? Find out as much information as possible about the exam, whether there will be a choice and basically multiple choice, and guide your studying accordingly. Okay, sometimes insofar as the choice is concerned, in some of the modules, they will say to you, answer any of the 2 questions. Okay, so because you have so much energy, you have studied so hard, you start with, let's say, there are 2 options, option A and B. Then you decide to answer all the options in the question. But when you answer all the options in the question, A and B, you find that you don't answer option A as a choice in detail, but option B, you have answered it in detail. Okay? Even though they've asked you to answer one option from this question. The assessor or the marker is not going to look at the second option. The one you have answered it so well is going to look at the first option. So you must adhere to the instruction. If they say answer any of the two options, choose one. Don't do overboard. At the end of the day, you may find that the second one is the one which you have answered so well. And the first one, you have touched it on there and there. At the end of the day, the assessor or the marker will focus on the first option. I'm not going to read the second option. Okay, so you need to also to follow the instruction. Review the material frequently. Think and make notes or concept maps. I've spoken about that one. Compare and contrast, and think about what you agree or disagree with and why. So if they ask you to compare or construct, you must be able to give an aspect. Why are you agreeing with this statement, or why are you not agreeing with the statement, and the reason behind that. Last slide. Your time management during exam is also important. Some modules, when you write them, they break your questions and they give the time which you must spend on each question. I know that accounting, they normally do that. I'm not sure if with the other modules most of the time. But if they don't do that in your module, you are given 2 hours to write this exam, okay? And we have almost 8 questions. You need to allocate time to each question, okay? And as you're allocating time to each question, give yourself maybe 10 minutes towards the end as an allocation for proofreading your answers which you have provided. So you need to divide the time you have by the number of the marks of the test itself, okay? In other words, question 1, if it's the weight is 20 marks, you must make sure that you maybe spend more, give more time to it. If the other questions, their marks are only 5 marks, 2 marks, and so on, you can allocate less time on them. If the exam is a mixed format, do the multiple choice first. Well, it depends. We are unique here, isn't it? I always like to start with something which is easy. Sometimes if you're going to start with the essay type questions, and you feel that you are not giving the possible answers for the essay type question, it also affects your anxiety and stress. In other words, now you start to give up. But if you started with something which is easy, like for example, a multiple choice question, you build your confidence so that when you approach those questions which they have allocated more weight on them, like your essay type question, already that answering the multiple choice questions have built something to you. That confidence is already there. And the other thing which is very important, colleagues, I don't know, other students, they do that. As you are answering the questions, don't try to correct yourself by indicating, for example, if this question is about 10 marks, then as you are scoring, you say, okay, it's 5 marks here, 7 marks there, 8 marks there. I'm telling you, you are going to stress yourself a lot. Okay? There is someone who's supposed to do that, not you. You are supposed to give the responses. The only thing you can do at the end, as you are doing a proofreading, now you can look and say, okay, based on this content I've given here, is it worth this amount of marks? Then if you feel, no, I don't think I've done so much insofar as the response for this question. So what I need to do, I need to add a little bit, okay? Start by answering the easiest question. You've spoken about that one. Generally, write a sentence and a paragraph, but switch to point form if you are running out of time. In other words, if you are realizing that now you are running out of time, all the aspects which are related to a question, you can put them in a point form. Hopefully, you can get a mark around that, okay? Because sometimes you feel that you don't have enough time to build up sentences to support the point. You can put it there as an answer, as in a point form, okay? Then if, for example, they ask about 5 things and you're able to identify 5 of them, if they said name and discuss 5 of these things and you are able to identify 5 of them, already got 5 marks. Then maybe you didn't have time to discuss, but you already got a half of the weight of that question. So don't undermine that, okay? Closing, I think should be the last one. Thank you, colleagues. I hope that I didn't take much of your time. If there are any questions, I'll answer 1 or 2. Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, ma'am, when it comes to the, with regards to the proctoring tools, the invigilator app, I wanted to know if I don't need to, sorry, whether or not do I need to open the app if I'm writing a 5-day essay exam, and well, incomplete to, sorry, I'm sorry. Can I please go check my question? Right. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Yes, I written it down. Right. I was asking with regards to the proctoring tools, if my assignment is a 5-day assessment, do I have to use the Invigilator app, or is the app only required when I'm writing 1-day typed assessments?
Chair, if you don't mind my stepping in, I think Mr. Soli covered this yesterday. And Vumile, the best advice that we can give for now is you need to read the assessment, you need to read the instructions. So if for that 5 days you are required to use an Invigilator app, so be it. But the best option is read the instructions precisely. That's where you will get your guidance in terms of how to proceed. Thank you.
I wanted to ask regarding the Invigilator app. Let's say maybe I have an exam which is an open book. So hence Invigilator app it flags you. It may flag you for suspicious behavior. So I wanted to ask, how will that work? Hence I have an open book exam.
So this was also covered yesterday by who was this? Sure, I forgot her name. But what is important is that when, to avoid flagging, sorry, this was covered by Miss Mandi Samasiza. So student, what is important is that when you are busy with your Invigilator app, the most important thing, you use your cell phone, you need to download, and so that you are comfortable, you need to be able to navigate. So there isn't demonstration, a mock exam. So just be familiar with it. And then on the day of the exam, remember that with the Invigilator app, it also has a geolocation. So your microphone must be working, operatable, and then including your cell phone camera. Because for you to be able to access the exam, you need to scan the QR code. But most importantly, with the Invigilator app, the safest option would be put it on flight mode so that you don't get those interruptions such as, WhatsApps, because that will lead to flagging. So if in between now there's other communication coming in, there's people calling and so forth, you put it on flight mode. And then there will be prompts. The other important aspect is the prompts. So one of the prompts immediately after accessing the exam, it will tell you to take a photo of your ID. So you need to have your ID card in close proximity, and it will tell you to take a selfie. So wherever you'll be writing the exam, make sure that it's not, a dark place, well lit. Your face can be seen, and then you follow the prompts. So and with to avoid flagging, you need to make sure that as soon as the prompt comes in, so it's usually like a bell alarm. So immediately when it comes in, you need to, follow the instructions. So if it says take a selfie or take pictures of what you are doing the current. So if you are typing on the computer, you take a picture of the screen, and that's it. Then you are not going to be flagged. But if you deviate and don't do as per instruction, then it's flagging. And the last thing that you want is to find yourself at the disciplinary office for being red flagged. Trusting that helped.
Ma'am, sorry to intervene and sorry to ask again. I
Not a
wanted to
problem.
ask you, hence you just explained right now. So you don't flag me, hence I'm going to write my answers on a book. Before I'm going to type it to the app, I'm gonna have to write them down in a book, maybe.
Let's say if you want to scribble, notes.
Yes.
My brother, the best option there, take pictures of those notes as well. It's very important. Like I'm sure you heard Miss Sophia and even Mr. Kolile regarding integrity and being authentic. So declaring, like I personally wrote through the invigilator a few years back, and because I scribble notes, I also took that and I also took a screen. So just to be on the safe side, you do that. And with your notes, maybe right there, this is a draft, so that whoever is moderating your work. Remember, what happens is sometimes you might find that there will be somebody who needs to moderate the recording. So as they are looking at your work, they are moderating and they are listening to the information. Everything needs to correlate. So if now there's other work, rather declare everything as is, and to be on the safe side.
Okay,
Trusting this helps, Mr. Maya.
It helps, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, all the best for your exam. Remember, do the right thing, ne?
I'm not sure, colleagues, if the other students, those who attended today, will be able also to listen to the session of yesterday. I think it will assist them, honestly, so that maybe if other presenters have put other points there and the presenter for today didn't put some of those points, they're able to catch up on that tool, yeah, that's my request. If they'll be able to access all the 2 recordings, then they can go through some of the content. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kubela. To my knowledge, the recordings will need to be edited and then they will be put onto the UNISA Counseling YouTube channel. It's just that the content needs to be edited and then make sure that it's visual and audible for the students, and then it will be uploaded.
I wanted to ask, I asked about the disciplinary issue last time, right? I wanted to ask how are disciplinary issues conducted? Are we supposed to go to the nearest campus and attend the hearing, or do I receive an email or something like that? I'd like to know. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. For that specifically, that content again was also covered in yesterday's preparation workshop, but that information will be made available to you.
I just wanted to ask if we have an open examination. Do I have, because one of the module I'm doing, I have to access a software application and then, put in the details there so that I can get the answers. So I'm not sure, are we when we were doing assignments, we were able to split the screen, do the quiz on the other side, and then on this other side we opened the software. So I don't know, I'm not sure if that will be a problem on the exam. Should I open, is it allowed to open two tabs, or I don't know, I'm not sure, because I was scared of using my phone, so I don't know.
Okay, Neptula, can I just please clarify? Are you asking about using the proctoring tools?
No, no. I'm talking about a software of another module. It's a start world for geography. I'm doing a geography module.
Okay, and is this for exam or is it for assignments?
It's for exam. We're also using it on assignments. So on assignments, I was able to split the screen. So I opened the quiz and opened the start world on the side. So I just wanted to ask, in the exam, will it be a problem if, or should I even open the exam portal or tab and then also the start world software, or should I use it on another screen? I'm actually not sure about the whole process, but we are using a software application, I think.
Okay, I think the question that you were asking, it was covered in the presentation that was completed yesterday. Unless my other presenters, Nomhle, if you are able to, yes.
Yes, can I come in? Thank you. Again, students, please look out for your instructions. For each and every question paper, there will be instructions on how you'd go about using either Iris or Invigilator app or even the software. And what we will do now, we will share contact details from the proctoring team so that you get assistance. And then you can also contact your lecturer for these things, because the presentation was yesterday and they did mention that you should always look for instructions. Make sure that you go through your instructions so that you do the right things and you are not flagged. Thank you.
Okay, I understand, ma'am. The instruction said that it's an open book exam and we should use our resources to answer the questions, which I understand. But what I was asking exactly was, if I open another tab, because I heard that when we're writing the exam, we should not have other tabs open. So I'm asking in regards of that when I'm using the Start World, is it allowed, or am I even allowed to open another tab specifically for that software of that module? It's not about the proctoring or anything about that nature.
Nokutula, I think the best option is, as Ms. Komoto had mentioned, she will put down all the details of the team that was dealing with proctoring, because we are not really familiar with your software. I think they will be the best people and experts to address you in terms of being allowed to open 2 tabs or so. So yeah, please look out for their contact details, and then they will help you. All the best.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Will you add the contact details on the comment section?
Yes, the details will be provided for the students who need access to those. And then just also keep an eye on the emails and on your chat. Our last presenter of the day will be Mr. Fatuani Makahane. He is a student counselor and educational psychologist based in the counseling unit at the Ekurhuleni campus. So he's going to present on psychological strategies for effective exam preparation.
So my job is very simple. I'm going to talk about the strategies for effective exam preparation. And my heart lies with students with disability as well. So all students with disabilities know that I am for you. So I'm your people. No, I'm not your person. I'm your people. So I'm your people. So anytime contact me so that we can talk about issues. We can talk about your mental health. And we've got a program that we run, which is called UCDP program, which speaks about student with disability, but even student without disability, because disability can set into a person any time of their life. I repeat that one. Disability can set into a person any time of their life, so long as they are alive. There are car accident, there are gun violence, there are stabbing. There's a lot you can think about. There's war in Iran. Sometimes you can be very stressed and then you are become paralyzed one side because you are stressed that people will die. And by the way, let me tell you the bad news. The bad news is we're all gonna die. But I also have the good news. The good news is we don't know when. So therefore, you cannot give up now. You need to do something as students. So you cannot say, I'm not going to study because I'm going to die. What if you don't die and you live longer and longer and longer? So just do the right thing now when you are still alive. So the dangerous part of human being is that when you live and we don't have a purpose and you got nothing that you have done, therefore you are as good as you are dead. So here I'm talking about two people who are not dead, who are not going to die tomorrow. So therefore, do something and change life for others. So the content of the program is about stress and anxiety, time management, exam preparation, strategies in exam preparation. This is what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to zoom into stress and anxiety, which can emanate from a lot of things. It can emanate from your relationship. It can emanate from exam itself. Sometimes exam itself is not the issue. The issue is you and your relationship. The issue is you and the challenge that you are faced with at home, in the community, in the morning when you are going to taxi or whatever, they took your phone, then all those things can bring about stress. And those stress, if it becomes huge and unmanageable, it can lead you to have mental breakdown. As such, you can also develop depression. So as sometimes you can even become one side of your body is not working, right? Left-hand side or right-hand side, because the stress is too much in your head. The brain cannot take it anymore. Then you become paralyzed. So therefore, you need to always think about this every day of your life, all right? You thank the high power. So in my side, it will be God. In your side, I don't know who's going to be, but bottom line is there is somebody whom you trust, who you speak to every now and then and say, thank you for life, because this is life. We are not joking about life. Right. What is anxiety and stress? Anxiety is a state of anxious about something dangerous, which is about to happen, or being excessively concerned about the future. Some of you are worried. I'm on my last year. When I finish here and get my degree, will I get a job? What if I die before I even go to the stand? Or what if I collapse when I'm collecting my degree because of happiness? Because sometimes happiness overload can make you faint as well. So therefore, that is why it's my job and the other colleagues' job to prepare you even to go for graduation. Why? Maybe sometimes you are first time, because some people like me who never been to the crash when you graduate when you are still in the early age. It's your first graduation in life. Therefore, it might bring about anxiety and stress. So therefore, such kind of things. Imagine you end up practicing the step. This is not wedding whereby you will practice the step. Sometimes you have watched a lot of videos. How do they put the gown? How do they put the belt? How are they going to put the hoodie? And so on and so on. Such information, it might be stressful to you, and you start to develop anxiety. Stress produces the same feeling as anxiety, but it's usually linked with which specific situation. Like, for example, the one you might be going through now is the one which is connected to exam. I haven't got my assignment back. Chances are I won't write the exam. I sent my assignment the last day. I wonder if they received it. Those are the kind of things that can also stress you. So stress is among students the common natural event, and as part of academic life, regardless of the year of university. It does not matter whether you're in the first year. It does not matter whether you're in the second year or third year, or honors or masters. In the masters, they will bring the whole 5 pages. You wrote the whole 5 months without even knowing your work. Then they bring it back, all of it. They said, this is, I don't know whether they will say it's rubbish, but if they say it's nonsense or rubbish, it's fine. Don't worry. So they said, they put a red pen. This work of yours, it's AI. I think my colleagues here, they spoke about AI, because students of these days, they are AI students. They're no longer natural students or original students. So therefore, Please, 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 my students, don't create more anxiety for yourself and stress because of relying on AI too much. I wonder why the owner of AI doesn't take that AI away so that it will become natural again. Psychologists find that examination is the most common source of stress that can be generalized to all students. So therefore, one is worried about NEFSAS. One is worried about whether NEFSAS will pay for me if I fail one module or whatever. Those are the kind of things that we're talking about here. That's why we zoom into now aspect of stress, one of which will bring anxiety. The other one will be fear, worry, distress. There are some people who have got generalized anxiety disorder, wherein they worry about everything. They worry about wedding. Will I be married when I turn 25? You worry about things that does not even worry you. Why do you worry? Because you don't marry yourself. My student, you worried about getting married. Really? Those who are into marriage, they want to go out, or those who are out, they want to go in. I'm just telling you a story of another day. Ne? When stress becomes excessive, it leads to anxiety before, during exam. This is the issue of exam. Exam is anxiety in the experience of feeling of intense moment of fear, panic. Sometimes you may develop panic attack or panic disorder as a result of the stress, as a result of anxiety, because of this is about the unmanaged anxiety. Anxiety causes you to perform worse than your ability when compared to less pressured situation. Sometimes things that you are used to, you have got less anxiety or less stress. So therefore, when you are in a anxiety or panic mode, you are more likely to make more errors. Fear can be caused by lack of preparation and planning. If you plan to fail, you have already failed to plan, because that alone, it will lead you to fail. There is no excuse about that. Therefore, don't laugh. In most cases, exam stress is caused by the fear of failing exam. Of course, people fear to fail. How do you not fear to fail, whereas you find out that sometimes you are paid by NEFSAS like me? I'm a NEFSAS student. I'll talk about NEFSAS because that's what I know. I started using NEFSAS. I don't know what you used. Some of you might be having money. So sometimes you don't even have money to buy this and that because NEFSAS doesn't give you a money. So that alone becomes a problem. Fear can also cause you to underperform on the day of exam due to the issue of fear and pressure. Sometimes you might develop the issue of stress, and you might then the failure and so on. It might be as a result of anxiety and stress, and it's not linked to anything else. So that alone, it brings about the issue that you will not fail because you did not prepare. You failed because you were stressed, and as such, this stress has led you to fail. And you cannot concentrate, you can't concentrate. Even if I say to you, you are going to be arrested 5 years from now, but we're going to give you 10 million. So you might think 5 years is very far, you will be dead by then. But then come 1 month remaining for your arrest, then the panic start to kick in, because everything in life has got its end date. That's why even a human life has got an end date. The end date for human life is death. This stress can result to high blood pressure, headache, stomach disturbances, and other physical problems. The problem of high blood is not sugar, that is not salt that you are eating a lot. There is no research which indicates that eating too much salt, you will develop high blood pressure. High blood pressure is as a result of stress, inability for the body to manage stress, right? Hypertension, that's what you call it in a nice name. You even give your high blood pressure a nice name. You say hypertension. So it's a hyper, right? It's a tension of the veins to transport blood. So that alone is a problem, because sometimes some of you develop a migraine, a headache, which exists as a result of stress. It does not have an original basis. It has got no place where it's coming from, except that you are stressed as such. So therefore, those are the issue of distress. So every time, try to minimize stress, because it can also lead to disability. Stress itself has been said to be the greatest leader of human disability. So therefore, if you are too much stressed, you are more likely to become disabled. That's why I say you are not safe. Okay? Coping with stress. The solution to a problem lies in the meaning, the perception, and definition. If you look on the top left, let's see volunteers here. Yeah, very, very dangerous in Kiruka. Stress is very dangerous. It's dangerous than even a gun itself. Stress is the greatest problem that we have in this life. So it's also the cause of disability. So the solution to a problem lies in the meaning, perception, and definition. If you look on the top left picture, what do you see? Let's see two volunteers, Kumuso, tell me what are they saying, or they may type there. Let's see, what do you see there? You see a ram. What is it there? Two faces. Okay, that's correct. I see. Two faces, and then what else? So two facial expression. That could be correct, yes. Two faces and a what? And a lamp, a lamp, a lamp, or what? A vase. The vase is the correct one as well, I think so, because the mouth and the nose of the black item there on the picture, it can be a vase. The white background as well on the left and right, it could be two faces. So those who have seen that, they are whole brain learners. So we've got two types of learners, three types of learners. We've got left-hand brain learner, right-hand brain learner, and the whole brain learner. So I always train people to become a whole brain learner so that they can be able to see problem in a different ways, so that they mustn't look at a problem in one area. So those who are left or right-hand brain learner, they are more likely to have a challenge when it comes to problem solving. They always solve a problem until this far. After they reach this far, then they become stressed. But those who are whole brain learners, they are more likely to explore most avenues to solve their problems. They don't give up. They incubate it and go and do something else. When they are done with what they were doing, they come back, they get the solution to the problem. Physical fitness, some of you don't even walk. You are always eating, driving, going up and down. Then you develop obesity because you are eating, the body doesn't even have time to rest. You eat during the day. I wonder why the companies which made fridge, they even put a light on the fridge, or they are forcing you to go to eat during the night. So therefore, you must switch off the light and cut the cable so that you mustn't see what is inside the fridge. And you put everything there where you put your hand. It must be something which are dangerous. You must find the cockroaches, or you must find the frogs, so that you mustn't eat during the night. Hey, speak to someone, a friend, a psychologist, speak to part 1 year, and they will charge you. No, nothing for mahala. But with UNISA, it's for free. You come to us, it's free of charge. No money to be paid, no medical aid needed. So utilize us. It's a set of, what is time management? It's a set of principle, practices, skills, tools, and systems that work together to help you get more value out of your time. Majority of people don't even have time, and they wasted time, all right? Each and every individual is given 24/7 hours, 365. But majority of you, in 8-hour day, you even eat the hour that doesn't belong to you. We're not talking about the 10% of church here. We're talking about hours. You are eating even the time that does not belong to you. 8 hours. If you are an employee, you must even give extra money. You give them 8 and 30 minutes. What's the problem? But you eat it until you give them only 5 hours. Imagine if it was your company and people are doing that. How will you feel about that? Time management is personal management. The issue of failing to manage time, you fail to manage self. So therefore, you must always know from today going forward until your last breath that if you fail to manage time, you fail to manage self. Gain an overview of academic activities. You must design a study timetable. Homoto is the right person to help you, to send you a timetable which doesn't have a filling inside, completely according to your needs. Therefore, the fridge must be used. The door of the fridge must be used as a place to plug your timetable so that it can remind you of the important dates of assignments, group discussion, exam preparation, writing exam, ensuring that you meet all your commitments on time. Get a year planner, a diary, and mark all important dates on your calendar. This is so important because majority of you forgot things. If you are in the age which I am now, because I'm getting very, very young, I forget things easily. Then you must always have a reminder. You know, when you reach some certain age, when you reach that age, time 20 something. So you start having problems. So you forgot. Where is my phone? But you're talking with your phone on the ear. Did I leave my phone in the house? You must note you are going there. Now we're not you are going there, we're gonna meet there. You even ask, did I lock the door? I'm not talking about people who have got OCD. I'm not talking about those who have got obsessive compulsive disorder. Always checking the door if I've locked it. You went back, you even reach work at 9 because you are going back and forth trying to check. Did I lock the door? Did I switch off I think I forgot to switch off the stove when I was making a jungle oats in the morning. Those are the OCD people, right? So switch off the whole light here. Hi. Thank you very much. So let's continue with, we've got short-term planning, long-term planning. It's about the short-term goals. You cannot have goals which you said, I want to acquire a degree in 1 year. That's not possible. Degree takes 3 years or 4 years. Make a realistic goals because you need to be real about your intention must be real. You must just say, in 2025, I want to finish my first year. 2026, I must be doing only level 2 modules. 2027, level 3 modules. There is no excuse. All right? There is no excuse. Don't worry about whether you're going to get job. The job issue is another story. We're going to have a workshop for CV writing, job hunting. We'll teach you that because that's my responsibility to teach you things that will help you, not only now, until you go 6, 7 feet under, if it's not 9 feet under. Sometimes these days, they don't even put you down. They put you closer here so that you mustn't contaminate our groundwater. Thank you very much. So, so it's important for you guys to realize that anything that you do in this life, you're not doing it for only your family. You are doing it for the next person. So having said that, you need to do something. That's why we use the concept budget your time, which is borrowed from economics. Budget is about money. So time is money. Okay? So if you are wasting your time, you are wasting your money because you are either selling your time to the employer or you are selling your time to your business. All money comes as a result of selling your time. So those who don't sell time, they don't have money. Some of us who have got money. So I sell time when I'm selling my goats. I sell goats, guys. So when you are going for wedding, remind me so that I can send you the pictures of the goats. Prioritize. Make everything priority. It must be on the top of the list. Avoid procrastination, the thief of time. Hey, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. Let me do it tomorrow. Then majority of you, because I know, they send the assignment on the last day. And when they do that, the system crash. Hey, UNISA doesn't care about us. But the day you register, they give you the exam, the assignment dates. No, man. No. Don't badmouth my company. Don't badmouth my company. Keep a to-do list. Write down things that you need to do and make sure that you stick to it. Have an action plan. Failure to have an action plan, you failed yourself. I told you that planning is the most important things of anything. The exam is next week, or you see, May is just around the corner, and it's started to be cold now. We are going to see those clothes that you put in the pillow because my mom used to keep my clothes that I wear in winter in the pillow. Then she's going to take them out. We'll see some jackets that we even forgot. Some of them, they look like anaconda. So, but it's fine. It's fine. It's normal. It's normal. Don't worry. Last minute studying, which is emergency studying. That is for UNISA students. I don't know the other universities because I don't work there. I work at UNISA. I know our students. I've been interacting with them. I know them one by one. Emergency studying. The danger about emergency studying is this. I want you to listen to this very carefully because you are going to avoid it for exam that is upcoming. If you study a night or a week before exam, all right? Because your brain, now let me zoom into psychology now. You want to know what psychology did for me, eh? Let me teach you psychology now. Then your brain only be able to accumulate information for 45 minutes. That's why the study is supposed to be broken down into 45 minutes study, 15 minutes break, 45 minutes study, 15 minutes break, or 60 minutes study, which is an hour, 20 minutes break. And when you are on break, you are not going to do anything concerning your study. I repeat that one. When you are on break, that is when the time wherein you will be busy with your phone. But don't do time wasters a phone when you are studying because nice message will come in because there are those people who need me to help them with assertiveness training, learning to say no. Why? Hey, show me this weekend can we go to 12 party? But you've got exam on Monday. You are wasting your time. Time wasters. Delete those kind of things, those kind of friends. Get rid of them. When I was saying that is that, say for instance, you're going to write exam, that time when the exam was still a sitting exam. But because I know sometimes some of you don't have a Wi-Fi at home, it's normal, you know, and the university is no longer providing the data, if I'm not mistaken, whatever it is. You might be going to write in McDonald's, you put your headphone or whatever, you tell them that owl, hey, I'm going to write exam here. Unfortunately at home I don't have these things, or I'm going to UNISA to write exam. So if you do an emergency study, the danger is if there is an accident on the road and you see those foil that we use to wrap food, and you know that that one is wrapping a person who's dead, died. Then the issue what's going to happen is the information that you have studied the last night is going to go out of your brain. What will be in your brain now is the picture you saw, right? And the worst past, when you are inside the exam, all is gone, right? You're only thinking about that picture. I saw the scuffed in. I saw one piece of meat lying on the road. Hey, what will be the family? Does the family know now? Maybe it's not yet informed. Hey, that is traumatic. Of course, that will happen to your brain. Now, you reach there, the whole 45 minutes, 1 hour, you're busy thinking about that person who passed on. Now comes the time they said we're left with 45 minutes. All the information that you were studying the whole night comes back, but you don't have time. Hey, You don't have time. You've studied the whole night. Now the whole information and the time you came for exam, it's a waste of time. That is why I say don't do emergency study. Okay? Sometimes you will be very tired in the exam. You said, let me nap a bit. You dream about them saying the exam is finished. You wake up here, you're scaring us, you just beat the table and then you wanted to go. Please, please, our students, please, I'm just begging you. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Study in time. The assignment themselves, it helps you to form a foundation of what you will be doing in the actual exam. So there is no excuse because the lectures are not out there to get you. If there is one who is out to get you, send their email to me. I'll tell them that UNISA is not for you because UNISA is there to support our students. That's the bottom line. That's my responsibility as well. Before I die or I leave UNISA, if I happen to live many years, I want to make sure that all students who have passed through my hands, who have listened to my workshop, not only motivating them, but they are supposed to be someone in the community, somebody in the society, and they should be ethical students. I don't like students who are unethical because you work so hard, then at the end of the day, you'll be in jail, you don't even eat your money. Please, plagiarism is as good as stealing something. So therefore, be worried and be careful. Yeah, go to the next slide. I've already done with this one, the emergency study. Right, as a matter of fact, as you can see, the whole brain learning is important. I've already spoken about this slide before we reach it. And there's some people now, they will say, I'm seeing a car. It's normal. Sometimes you need to go to check your brain, your eyes and your brain, because if they don't correspond, you will see a car there. At the same time, I need to go and redo my license. I'm worried because I cannot see far. So therefore, I must go to the doctor to check my eyes so that they can give me a letter to me. This guy, we have given him a contact lenses to drive with. So some of you are like me. The computer has damaged your eyes. Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. So now, if you see a rabbit, it's fine. But this also, apart from the rabbit, I see something else, a bird. That's correct. You see, Petile. The problem with you is because you always watch my workshop and you know these things already. Plagiarism. What's your problem? You plagiarism, and I'm still talking about plagiarism. You're busy plagiarizing. So joking, guys. But the bottom line is, yes, you may see two things there. You may see a bird facing the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, the head of the bird becomes the rabbit head. That's correct. Those are whole brain learners. I can teach you how to be a whole brain learner. Those who only saw the ostrich and duck, you still have a lot of time to see things. Those who only see the rabbit only, you must know your type of brain you are. Then I need to teach you a whole brain learner. Humuzo, please organize a workshop for them for whole brain learning activities so that I will teach them the whole day so that they must learn this. The other thing which can assist you is to read the book of useless information, right? Did I say useless information? Yes, the book of useless information. But information in that book is useful. Okay, let's continue. Then motivation. Let's do it. I can't do it. I want to do it. That is negative statements. So because I'm coming from Schneider as my master's theory of hope theory. So everything in my life is about hope. So people who are negative, I don't like them next to me because they will bring their negative energy to me. So I love people who are positive about life. If you say I'll be a millionaire, I love those kind of people. And if you stay around with people who are negative, you are going to be negative. You have got a negative outlook of life. And if you want to be a millionaire, please don't roam around with sparrows, people who are centenaires, because they won't take you to million because they don't know how million look like. So you must run around closer to the millionaires. So you see, in my next life, I will be a millionaire. So, but for now, I'm still building the millionaire mentality. What does success mean to you? How much do you believe in yourself? Why are you studying? If you don't know what you are studying, even the motivation for studying will dwindle down. So you need to know, why are you studying? What are you studying for? All those aspects, the moment you start to know them, you won't have a problem. But the moment you fail to understand them, you are going to have a problem because you don't know what you are studying for. You need to have a reason and a meaning. For those who don't have, that's why you always choose a course because somebody is doing it and they say it's easy and you get a job. The moment you do that, I want an easy course, they call me. I'm Prof Light. Prof Light, you telling me the course which is easy? Imagine. I don't even know what it easy look like, right? They think psychology is easy until they got statistics psychology. They will tell you, I did not do maths. It's not maths, it's statistics. You see, they are also wrong again. So that is what it is. It is what it is. Right. They told them about teaching. Teaching, they said when you finish teaching, you're going to get a job. Says who? How? What if you are not a teacher type? Common mistake during exam preparation, procrastination, we spoke about that. Not having a plan, we spoke about that. Cramming the night before exam, emergency study, we spoke about that. Negative thinking, the one I was mentioning now, not recently, I spoke about that. So therefore, all these aspects are the causes and challenges with regards to talking about exams. Common mistakes during exam preparation, failing to follow instruction. Please read instructions. Sometimes you find that they say to you, only do 2-3 questions among these 5. Choose, but the question number 1 is compulsory. You end up you starting from 2, 3, 4, 5, and then at the end of the day you lose more marks because the question that you jumped is the one which is compulsory. Read the instruction and don't be tempted to start with short questions because it has got a lot of marks. Why? Multiple choice sometimes give you a basis of what you will find in the short questions. Sometimes it's the heading for your short questions, so you need to know them. Writing too much or too little, you need to know how much is a page. I'm not talking about students like Kumuto, my student. Kumuto, my student, will write in capital letters in the page so that she thinks she wrote facts. She make the page too full quickly. No, it doesn't work like that. We mark facts. We don't mark how much page you wrote. That's why 15 marks answers, it requires only half a page for somebody who write like they are typing. Okay? But if you write like Kumuto and Mampe, please, you must note in 2 pages is only 15 marks. So therefore, you must work hard. Starting with the most difficult question. Don't be tempted to start with the most difficult question. Why? They will end up making you to feel like exam is not for you this time around. So to avoid that, start with the simple question, which are the one that you are provided. Multiple choice, it starts as a warm-up. You cannot start a car and then drive 120 within a second. You are damaging the engine. It must warm up. Start driving 60, 70, 80, because you got to warm up the engine. Warm up for your exam, it's multiple choice. Careless errors. This one, Kumusu, you don't know them. I know these students mean. They will not know question number 1. Okay? And they think there's a sequence in exam. There's no sequence in exam. You can start with question number 5, it's still 5. So now they don't know question number 1. They start with question number 1, they leave space, they jump. They write question number 2, they don't know it much, they jump, they leave space. They start with question number 3. The information for question number 1 and 2 arrives. It comes back to their brain. Now they don't know because the space provided is smaller than the answer that they will give. Now they draw an arrow, it goes to the end of the page. Please lecture, check the end of the page. So whose lecture have got that time to waste? Because it's not marking only your paper. There's no one who's assigned to mark your paper only. So therefore, please don't waste your lecture's time. All right? Jump and start with question number 5. Right? Question number 1 is number 5. It's my question number 5. Even the memorandum, they'll go and look on the memorandum of question number 5 and answer that based on number 5. There is no sequence in the exam. Thank you very much. Don't be fooled by the fact that it's online exam. This does not change the fact that it's an exam. So that's why you are procured. What does it mean? It means that there's an owl which is watching you. Like Patuani, I'm waiting for you to see your moves. You tell the owl, I'm going to the loo now. Please, I'm going to the loo. I'm going to come back, please. Just understand that. Because even in the actual exam, you go to the loo, isn't it? So what's the big deal? If they check you, they will tell you, the chief, we saw you going up and down. You said, yes, go and check my recordings. I told the owl I'm going to the loo. Then it's fine. It's fine. I work with these people from exam. If they refuse to mark my paper, bring them to me. Me and them are going to fight. May and June, we have got exam. Familiarize ourselves with exam timetable, exam date clashing. What do you do? Sometimes it clashes. Therefore, which means you register the modules which were supposed to be for another semester on that semester. That's why when you are registering, check the exam dates that they don't clash, because it's already there in the beginning of the exam. It will tell you that this exam is on the same day, same time. Then you can move one to the other semester. The timetable, I think they said it's going to be available from the 4th or 5th of May. I saw somewhere there. Thank you very much for Kumuto and the colleagues to put that up for students so that they can understand that. TV is not important. Those people who are there in the TV, they're getting paid. Why are you watching TV as if you are getting paid? Are you creating, what is it that when you got a lot of viewers, you are getting paid, podcast or whatever? So now I must start with my podcast. So why do you watch TV like a person who doesn't write exam? You even watch TV. Hey, I cannot miss Kim San. They are getting paid. When you are still struggling to get a profession, you can put that thing and watch it later. Buy that thing that makes you to watch things later or touch up, man. Television now, the computer, the TV, the Facebook has got a catch up. So do that so that you can be able to have things going. We don't want you to stay in USA for 20 years. We want you to stay a normal time so that you can go and work and make sure that the communities are developed. Our community are suffering because of people like us, not you, like us, who are always busy with television. Okay? So now I'm not saying you mustn't watch TV. Switch it off. And hey, I mean, I study well and I'm listening to music. The only thing which is gonna ring in your head when you're writing exam is that song. Bob Marley. While you are busy writing exam, nothing comes forth. They ask what is stress management, and I will ask the lecturers of psychology. Please ask them what is stress management. Only those who have listened to the workshop. Then, if you don't know the answer and you don't reference me, then you got a 0. Right? So your stress management, it is a way to go. Every day, before the exam, check your timetable again, check your devices, verify if you are. I know sometimes, like where I stay, there's too much load shedding. So go to charge your device at UNISA, go charge your device at McDonald's, go and charge your device. Be ready. There's no excuse. Log in early. Don't call a computer lab to help you with logins on the day of exam. Why didn't you try to log in early so that when you see the problems, you can solve them earlier? So students, please don't come with excuses. I am used to excuses. I know them. I'm a human. I've been a student, so don't come with that story. Turn off your notification from your phone or set your phone on silent. During exam, we don't need your phone. Allocate time to settle in and mental preparation. You need to prepare your mind for exam. Exam is serious. Sitting exam, use reading time effectively, underline, highlight keywords and phrases. Do plans, do they address the question? That's why I always remind you of the mind map. That one helps you to have topics that we're going to discuss about in your exam. But don't spend too much time on time planning because it will end up wasting your time. Multiple choice of 60 questions, sometimes it's 2 hours, which means each question has 2 minutes to complete. So you eat 2 minutes, you've eaten 1 question. Therefore, you won't have enough time to finish your questions. Make sure that you have filled in all the details because you might write the whole exam, but your name and your student numbers doesn't appear. Now it's a hassle for lecturers to check who does this belong to. Now they throw it away. Now you are so stressed and they say you did not write exam. You ask them, how did I not write exam? Hence, you do not even fill your details on the exam during that time when you are writing exam. Or CTA students, these are the things that you need to remember. During the exam, consider how well it answers the exam. Please don't go back too much into your exam to reread. You are more likely to change your answers, even the correct answers. Exam day continues. During exam, read over the exam paper before you start. Read what it says you must do. Know the mark value of each question so that you divide your time appropriately. Don't just do without minding the time. Remember, the exam is timed. Manage your time effectively. That goes back to time management. It is all about how to manage your time. As you can see, the script of Komuto there, it says plagiarism or what? Absent from exam, whatever it is. Results outstanding. Komuto, please, man. Please, Komuto. Don't do this thing. Mampe, who will? I know your handwriting. I don't know your student number. I know your handwriting. This is your handwriting, Mampe. I know your handwriting. Vele, who you? So make sure you plan work on your own. Otherwise, it's not your success. Guys, how do you feel? You have passed exam, but Mampe or Patwane are the one who wrote the exam for you, and you are going to work. Not in the Department of Home Affairs because it's the most used department. You are going to work at UNISA. You are going to be a lecturer. Chances are you are going to use AI to mark our paper. And that alone, it reflects on your performance because you were a poor performer. You ask people to write an exam for you. That is unethical behavior. Then we're gonna take you to Mandlanga Commission. We will see you crying. The tissue will be lying on your head, the whole head. I don't know because you have got hair. Your hair. About female, they said, but I mean, I don't have a bald head. I've got that other hair. I do not say that, ne? Fame, it's not the end. Celebrate, reflect, register, pass. You celebrate to reflect. Distinction, you celebrate to reflect. I want you to listen to this. If you fail, go back, please. I'll finish, don't worry. They don't want to go to lunch, these people. Even lunch is left with 9 minutes. It is not the end, né? Which means that don't kill yourself. Speak to Papa in counseling. We will assist you to navigate or to go through the pressure or stress of not passing the exam. Okay? Even if we know you are wrong, I won't say you are wrong. And then lo, 1, 2, 3. Even if they said the machine says you plagiarize, come, let's talk. Let's find out where did you go wrong. You know, that's the issue. Then you register, but the challenge is on the fail one. Then it affects your NEFSAS. It affects your money that you're going to pay for your studies. Chances are we won't see you coming next year because you don't even have money. So make sure that you study hard, because mostly when you are studying using NEFSAS, it's a motivation in itself, because failing, they won't pay for you. So therefore, you must study hard to make sure that you pass. Psychological strategies in preparing for exam. In summary: goal setting, SMART goals. Set the SMART goals. You know that. Simple, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timelessly. Self-regulation, time management, cognitive restructuring, negative thoughts, I spoke about them, mindfulness and relaxation techniques. There are some people who cannot even stay on their own and mind their own business. Every time they mind people's business. So if you cannot mind your own business, because mindfulness is about minding you. Some people cannot marry themselves if they're given life to marry themselves. No, I cannot marry myself because I've got these problems. If you cannot marry yourself, you have got to challenge yourself, but you want somebody to be your partner. How is that possible? Visualize, active recall and space repetition, resilience building, physical health and well-being, positive reinforcement, peer support, and study groups. These are the things that you need to know. You need to know that. And thank you very much for listening. And don't drink and drive because you're going to spill the water. Thank you very much, Komutso and the colleagues, and have a great evening. Enjoy the long day further.
I believe with all the content that we've heard today, I feel like everything considered for exam preparation, the stress and anxiety as well is a very, very big part, because if you cannot handle with the process in terms of preparing, and when you get into the exam and even after you've done the exam, it will feel like you're going to be stuck or you can't move forward. So I really do think that such information is valuable for the students to hear.
I wanted to ask about the clashing of the exam. If my modules clash on the same time, what do I do?
Okay, thank you for your question, Kamukelo. I believe the best place to start if there's a clash is to please reach out to your lecturers and inform them of that clash. Because it can also be on the administrative side, but it's best to start with your lecturer if you feel like that needs to be resolved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to just introduce our last presenter for the day, our last speaker for the day, Ms. Vuile Zulu. She is a trainee career guidance practitioner at the Ekurhuleni campus, and she will be able to provide us with the closing remarks for the day. Ms. Vuile, the floor is yours.
Thank you, program directors. Good day to everyone. As I have been introduced, I am Vuile Zulu, an intern at Ekurhuleni campus. As we bring this examination preparation workshop to a close from our Department of Counseling and Career Development, we would like to thank each and every one of you who was able to join, from our program directors, Ms. Rotondo and Zimasa. We thank you for your time and we thank you for directing this program for us. A warm appreciation to Ms. Fortunate Morena for your warm welcoming and opening for us, and also I would like to thank Ms. Le Tabo for recapping yesterday's session, and thank our speakers for your time, the knowledge that you were able to share with us today. And we are hoping our students will be able to use it as they navigate their exams. To our first speaker, Mr. Kolile Gaba, We truly appreciate your presence and we thank you for explaining the tools that are specifically used for exams and that the institution do not tolerate or have mercy if you did not use the appropriate tools for a specific module, and also explaining the importance of typing your UNISA examination in the Microsoft Word, and also reminding the student that they have to keep on regularly saving their work to avoid losing it in progress. And once again, once you are done with your exams, make sure that you save your file in a correct name as instructed by your lecturer. And also we thank for the process of converting the file from Word to PDF. I'm hoping the student will be able to take notes on that one. We thank you so much. And then I would like to thank our second speaker, Miss Sophie. We thank you for your presence and we truly appreciate the way you're able to put the emphasis or sharing with the student the importance of emphasizing the academic integrity. For instance, using AI in your exams or in your assessments, and also for explaining the non-venue expectations and how you can use AI in your examination and how it can be used and how AI can threaten your examination integrity and how to avoid risk with using AI. Thank you so much. So our third speaker, Dr. Gupega, would also like to thank you for explaining to our students the different types of examination questions from the multiple choice questions and offering so they can tackle those questions and explaining the essay type questions and also offering ways into how they can answer the essay type. The most important issue that you've stated was the student needs to like pay attention to the mark allocation, as this will guide them as to how much they are supposed to provide and time management during the exams. Then our fourth speaker, Mr. Fatwani. We thank you so much for your time and to be able to educate us and the student on the issues of mental health and the importance of taking care of their mental health issues, and also preparing our students with how they can cope with exam stress, ways they can do to minimize their stress. For instance, you've put it out that it is easy to deal with the stress if you do know your triggers and be able to like manage it. Second one was to make sure that you engage in physical fitnesses, even if it's just 5 minutes walk or speaking with someone, whether it's your friend or psychologist. And the last one would be the time management and planning to avoid staying up all at nights, being a ghost, or waking up in the morning and then you realize that you have the exams or that your exams, they are clashing. It is very much important to take time management and planning importantly. You can do that by putting the reminders on your phone. That will help you to plan and balance your personal and your academic learning. We thank you so much for all the information that the speakers were able to share with us today. And most importantly, I would like to thank our students for your engagement, participation from the yesterday's session and today's workshop. Your commitment to your studies is very much commendable, and we trust that you will use all the strategies and guidance shared to empower you to approach your exams with confidence and clarity. And most important thing, you are definitely not alone to this journey. Should it happen that you encounter any challenges, please make sure that you take the provided contact details and be in touch. That's it from me. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vide, for those closing remarks. I would just like to remind all of the attendees, may everyone please complete the evaluation form that will be sent in the chat. It is very important for us just to get information from your guys and as students for maybe how we can improve, any positive comments or any thoughts that you might have about these workshops. So we really value your input and we'd appreciate if you complete that evaluation form. Thank you all so much. For the details that everyone is asking for with the respective speakers, do keep your eye out on the chat, though that information will be sent to you. Thank you all so much, and I hope you have a good day further and a good weekend. Thank you.